Okay, hello everyone. I want to welcome everybody to our weekly webinar. We've got a decent crowd here. Appreciate everybody coming out. I also apologize for the slightly late start. I have a student that ends at 9 o'clock my time, and usually we wrap it up right on time, but he had a couple questions, and this is all about helping people, so I wanted to stay with a little bit. So hopefully, just to give everybody a little bit of the geography of the site, you should be seeing the screen, weekly educational webinar. This is the introductory screen, obviously. There is a chat function along the side. You can type questions in there or comments or anything else you want to get into. I try to make this about 15, 20 minutes, right to the point, quick, simple, couple takeaways, get some discussion going. Leaves about 5, 10 minutes for questions. And if we have to take it on that, we just do. So, I think we're ready to rumble. So again, welcome everyone. We've got 8 people on. That is awesome. Thank you very much for sharing tonight with me. So this is the weekly educational webinar. My name is Steven Greene. I am the lead educator at mAke the grAde, also the author of the book Maximum Education, and a lot of what we're doing with these webinars is based on the book. Tonight, what I want to talk about is very timely because for a lot of people it's starting last week, this week, even today, is planning the second semester, whether you're a college student, high school student, middle school student, elementary school student, whatever. You're basically about the halfway point of your school year, and we want to make sure that you're doing this right. Okay, so that is the goal for tonight. I'll flash this up again later in the webinar, but this is how you can connect with me. That's my direct line, 540-TEST, which is also 8378. Website for the tutoring company, website for the book. If you want to schedule an appointment, you can go to the mAke the grAde site, and there's a facility on there to schedule. But let's get right into it. I want to talk tonight briefly about 4 different things. Number 1, what's involved in setting up a study plan? It's going to mean something different to everyone based on your skills, classes you're taking, time you have, commitments, some time management skills and techniques, some information management skills and techniques, and also how to create a daily action success plan. To me, the tenets of the book, and this has been proven over and over and over, these are the 3 main things: time management, information management, creating a daily action success plan. This is what leads to sustained, consistent success. So let's talk about time management. There's a lot of levels that this is going to occur. Okay, time management can happen day to day. It can happen hour to hour, it can happen week to week. But I'm looking at this from the perspective of I'm a student. I get home from school at 3 o'clock. I've got approximately 6 hours to handle whatever academics I have. And how am I going to make the most use of that time? Okay, how am I going to put that together in a productive way where I'm not killing myself and things like this? Now, of course, that's idealized because a lot of kids have practices and play rehearsal and sports and dance and you name it, music lessons, etc., etc. The list goes on and on. So number 1, you have to create a consistent plan. One of the things I teach profusely with Maximum Education is to have a plan that you use consistently and you do not waver from. So the basic plan we use and we implement and I teach here is to, first of all, keep track of all the work you have to do, because you're not going to get your work done if you don't know what it is. It's much easier nowadays. Most students I work with have access to online portals and wiki pages and Google platforms and classrooms and such that can list their homework. But still, that is your responsibility to know what you have to do when you get home. So we're going to create a daily plan, which would be, okay, we're going to do math, then English, then history, then science, then language arts, or what have you. Some things are not going to be due that next day. You may know on a Monday that you got to test the following Tuesday. So that's something you've got to deal with over the next 6 to 8 days. So you have short-term things are due the next day, homework, worksheets, outlines, etc., reading passages, things like this. Then you've got things that are due maybe later in the week or the following week or maybe in a month. Lab reports, big tests coming up, unit tests, things of this nature. So the basic split is what's short term, which in my mind, what's due the next day, and what's long term, 2, 3, 4 beyond, 2, 3, 4 days and beyond. The key is prioritizing. What should you do first? In my view, things are due the next day. Okay, let's take it to the next level, information management. It's probably a tie. I don't keep fantastically detailed records, but probably more people complain. The two biggest complaints I get from students is why they struggle is because they don't have enough time and there's just too much stuff to handle. What I was trying to get at is I think the information overload complaint is a little stronger than the time management complaints. But there is a lot of information, especially if you're in the upper levels of college or last few years of high school, where you may have some serious classes like AP classes and honors classes, things of this nature. So there's a lot of information that you have to process. There's a lot of information that you need to go through, and there's a lot of information you just have to know. So organizing it is key. The main ways and the main processes of organizing it, at least in the mAke grAde and maximum education world, are outlining note-taking. Okay, old school, everybody did this in paper, on paper, in notebooks, in tablets, whatever, notepads, flashcards. It's gone high tech. I have plenty of students that don't even write notebooks. They're taking all their notes online, in shared documents, and Google documents, and cloud-based documents. I'm have no problem with this as long as you know where the information is and you can access it quickly and it's organized well. One of the things I teach is 6 different ways to make an outline. And you may say, why do you need 6 ways to make an outline? And the answer is because there's lots of different kinds of information. You're going to outline science differently than you will history, both of them differently from how you would a language like Spanish. So it's all reacting to what you need to get done. So in my mind, what differentiates outlines from note-taking is I look at outlines as something a student can do on their own time in their room, office, wherever they do their work. Note-taking is what happens in real time during class. So these are different things. If you don't have a system already, you're going to have to step this out. So here's our daily action plan. And this is all detailed in the book. I guess I am plugging the book, but and you know, honestly, it's a little bit of common sense. But you've got a daily action plan, which is to go to school, do what you got to do in class, write down what you need to do at home, have access to it, come home, make a daily plan to get your stuff done, managing your time, managing the information with outlines and notes, and then making sure you know what to do, when to do it, getting it done, getting the stuff that's done the next day first, and then previewing and getting ready for things that are due a week or two later. In the book and online, which will unlock when you get a copy of the book, there are numerous forms, documents. They're all interactive things you can download or do in a cloud environment. They'll help you to do this. But the key is, and it's a little bit of a chicken and egg, do you organize your information and then manage your time? Or do you have good time management and plug the information in? And I think the answer really is a little bit of both. And the more you do things like this, the better you tend to get at both. And it just flows way better. So again, you go to school, you collect all your information, whether it's written, whether it's online. You come home, you block out your day, you work through what you're going to do, and you have to be sensitive to that. You're going to have things that are short term, do the next day, or longer term, do 2, 3, 4, 7, 10, 30 days out, but you don't want to wait till the day before they're due, so we're going to break them up into smaller chunks over time. The carryover would be something that is due in a week. So today's Monday, I had a student today who has a chemistry test next Tuesday. Well, what I told him to do is let's break this chapter up into fourths or fifths. And we decided on fourths. So the idea would be they're going to study the first fourth tonight, the second fourth tomorrow, which is Tuesday, then Wednesday the third, and then Thursday the fourth. This way, but this whole week, by Friday, they've made it through the whole test to review anyway, information-wise. Then Friday and Saturday, they split into halves. So they do the first half Friday and the second half Saturday. Sunday, they've got the whole review, and same for Monday. So this is just one of many, many really simple but very powerful and effective techniques we teach, we implement, and we oversee. And this is where accountability comes in. Accountability, in my definition anyway, is just simply making sure that somebody does what they know they're supposed to do and they say they're going to do. And it works both ways in all cases. It's very common. I get calls from parents who are frustrated and unhappy because they obviously want their children to succeed, but their children seem to be their own worst enemies, and they end up arguing about when are you doing homework and why didn't you do well on this test. And it breaks down pretty quickly, and if you've ever been in this situation, you know it's hard to keep harmony in a household. But accountability is somebody knowing what you're supposed to do and holding you to it. And this is one of the jobs I have as an educator, because I know what every single student I have has to do. I don't know when basically they're supposed to do it. And I can make sure that this happens, or at least that they know somebody is looking over their shoulder. So just going to bring this all together. I'm going to back up a bit. We've got time management, got information management. We have got your daily action plan, daily study action plan. Couple in with that, some accountability. And this just takes your whole system to another level. You still have to learn the information. Let's not leave out some details. But this is larger macro stuff. Again, these are largely principles from the book. So I'm going to turn this over to Q&A. Let me see what kind of questions we've got here. I will tell you, I went a little quicker than I thought. It's only been about 13 minutes in, so I guess that's good. I want to go over to the questions here. Okay, I'm going to paraphrase this because it's a little long. Basically, the question is, I have a very unorganized child. They're not only unorganized in their studying, it's also their room is a mess, and everything just seems to be an hour late and not well done. How do I get them to turn it around? Okay, good question. It's like the old Zen saying, you know, even the longest journey starts with a single step, or something along those lines. You got to have a long-term goal, and then you got to break it down into baby steps to get there. You're never going to take a person, I don't care how old they are, 6, 20, 100, and get them to change overnight. So what you do is you figure, hey, where do we want to be in a month? What do we want our habits to be in about a month? And then we back it up and say, okay, what can we do weekly? What can we do daily? And you got to create a cycle of success. If a kid's issue is that they don't even write down their homework, so they don't know what to do, even though it shouldn't be really that big a win, maybe we just encourage them for a week to just simply make sure every single day they write down homework. The next step would be to get it done in a timely fashion, but that's what we would build to. So my short answer to your question would be, we want to have a long-term goal that we will build to over some reasonable length of time, typically 1 to 2 months. We would break that into shorter-term goals that we could break into weeks and basically days. You also have to be realistic a little bit and be able to understand that it's not going to go perfectly every day. Some days it's going to go very well. Some days it's going to be frustrating. And that's part of the process, but it can happen. Here's another question. There's actually a few questions, but what's the best age to start Um, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I think kind of logic would say this: the earlier the better. Although I don't know my 4-year-olds using maximum education techniques. I think realistically, when the workload gets to the point where the kids can't just do it very, very easily, and I'm observing that to be 4th or 5th grade, maybe middle school for sure. There's a big break point at middle school because most elementary schools are self-contained classrooms, meaning the students basically have one teacher. They may switch for math or language or history or whatever, but they basically have one primary teacher. The big jump into middle schools, they now have 4 or 5 teachers because typically they have one per subject, and that carries through the rest of their educational experience into college or into high school and college. So that's usually an entry point. That said, most parents don't think, and I typically agree that a 12-year-old needs a lot of oversight with this. So the most common entry point I get in my tutoring caseload with students is usually 7th or 8th grade or 9th grade, somewhere in that window for this sort of thing. But it is something you want to monitor. It's not all about grades. People can be very unorganized and still get good grades, just in their wits, or maybe the way the tests are, or maybe the teacher gives them a lot of room, so to speak, in school. So you really want to look at the habits because you can overcome poor habits to a point, but once the workload is too much, you can't. And that's when it's even harder to fix. Let me take the next question here. Okay, here's basically the question is, how do you know what the best way to organize your information is if you don't really understand the information? I don't understand math, so it does not help me to organize it. Yeah, good question, common problem. The answer I would say is this. It's not all about organizing, but organizing is important. But it's going to be more important in some topics than the other. History, it's just a lot of bulk information, and you do have to have that compartmentalized. Math and some sciences like chemistry and physics tend to hand off from one topic to another. So if you're doing math, things you're going to have in September are going to help you foundationally for October and November. So the way you would take notes is really different. In math, a lot of times the notes are just sample problems that the teacher might have done, or on things you're supposed to have worked through. So these are things that are just different. It's a good question. I'm going to tell you, I don't have a perfect answer for that, except to just know where your strengths and weaknesses are and where you're going to need help with things, and understand that not every subject can be dealt with exactly the same way. And that's really where it ends. Math is the one that's a little tricky because it isn't a subject that typically requires a lot of notes beyond essentially writing down examples that the teachers do. People don't typically go on the math notes or math textbooks and write a lot of notes out, at least not in the same way that you would outline a history chapter or annotate an English book or a chemistry chapter or things like this. So I'm going to leave it at that. I've basically run through the questions. I appreciate it. If anybody has another one, feel free to push it up on the screen. Let me go into the last 2 more slides, actually. As I have said in the beginning, this is a weekly event. It's every Monday at 9. There's occasionally a week that I just can't do it. I have other obligations, but I sort of flow between several things. Sometimes certain topics each week. Occasionally I'm going to have guest presenters come in. I know very, very good, high qualified people in a lot of topics that I've listed here: educational funding, college application process, essays, things like this. We may talk about the SAT, ACT, maybe similar, different. Oh boy, excuse me. But really, what I'd appreciate is input. I'd like to believe that the reason people coming back to these webinars, and I think there's at least 4 of you on this one, I know have been on before, which is awesome. Thank you. It's just input. If there's a topic you're not sure about, we could always set up a time and talk about it one-on-one. But I that's great. Just email to me. I'm going to put this up here again. Here's my contact information, and this is the last slide. So we're coming into wrap up here. So if you have a question that wasn't handled tonight, feel free to. Actually, you know what? Where's it on here? Let me see if I can. This is my email address. I apologize there. I was talking like it was on there the whole time, and it wasn't. But here's the website. There's the email. Link to the book. Link to the Facebook page. There's my personal Facebook page. There's a text information service I run. If you're interested in learning about that, or if you want to get some giveaways or some free tutoring, that happens on there. Text the word START to 215-883-4450. Okay, so I am going to bring this to a close here. Let me just do one thing pretty fast. I like to do at the end here is always try to say hello. Hey, there I am. Hi, folks. There's a person behind the curtain. My Wizard of Oz reference. So yeah, I appreciate everybody's support, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to wrap this up. I think we ran through all the questions. Same time next week. Honestly, I have going between 2 topics for next week, which would either be to talk about ACT versus compared to SATs, which I'm getting a lot of questions about in the last month or 2, or talk about how to schedule. A lot of the high schools are picking classes, and the question is, should my kid take honors, math, or regular math, or that AP versus whatever. Neither of them are super long topics, so maybe we can bundle them into one. We'll see. So that's it. We are going to wrap up here, and once again, thank you very much. See you next week, and so on. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.